Welcome to the Business Kitchen Show, where every week we'll be cooking up some fun recipes to help you succeed in business. Our guests will be sharing time-tested and delicious business recipes, as well as some new cutting-edge ones. Every recipe has a story, and every chef adds their own unique flavor to the dish. Just like each business strategy has its own story, and owners work hard to make their mark. Here at the Business Kitchen, you can be sure to find your own recipe for success.
Welcome to a fantastic new episode of the Business Kitchen. Here at the Business Kitchen, we encourage you to look for the solutions outside the traditional recipe box. So I would like to introduce my co-host, Tatiana. I'm your host, Natalia Levy, and let's get started with this episode. Hi, Tatiana.
Hey, Natalia. How's it going?
Wonderful. Thank you. So we want to make sure that you guys are really paying attention to this episode. Each guest that we have on air brings so much value and packed with different tips and suggestions. And always remember that the conversation continues after the show at our Facebook page. So before we dive into the delicious content of today's show, would like to thank our sponsors, Fast Ship Face Mask. If you need a mask, use Fast Ship Face Mask. They have tons of summer styles and prices start at just $6.99. They ship with the one business day from Florida. We checked them out and the reviews are great. It is incredible how many satisfied customers they have. Go to fastshipfacemask.com to get some for yourself or your business. So right now, for all businesses, it's absolutely critical to have online presence. And how you present your brand is much more important these days. So to show beautiful images and to tell stories about your business through the images that you represent is so much more important. And we have a guest today that can show you how to do it in the most effective way. She will share today about the pivots that she was able to make with her business as a branding photographer. And I'm so excited. Let's bring on Brittany Benyon. So Brittany is a branding photographer and a brand strategist based out of Ann Arbor. She's an expert in the field of personal brand photography. She is sought out by women entrepreneurs across the country. Welcome, Brittany. We're so excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Not only Brittany is a beautiful entrepreneur herself, she's actually a mom. Brittany, share with us how many kids you have while running this business.
Right, I have 5 kids. 5 kids, 12 and under.
Wow.
That is incredible. So you are an example, a perfect example of how women especially and anybody who wants to start a business, it's possible. Tell us, how do you manage with 5 kids and running a business?
Absolutely. It's 100% possible. I feel like as women entrepreneurs, we've been hit a little bit harder when it comes to COVID. We're trying to juggle kids and school and businesses and work. Totally doable. You just have to be able to have the right mindset and just know that you can do it.
Not only the right mindset, but you probably have some incredible organizational skills. Would you mind sharing, how do you manage the schedule of 5 kids under the age of 12 and with schools, and you have a really, really successful business, which I can't wait to talk to you about?
Absolutely. So my secret weapon is called block scheduling. And so I just really, like you said, I have to be organized. And I make sure that I chunk out time with my day. So for me, when my kids are asleep in the morning, I get up and I have 2 hours of work. And then I focus on my family for a couple of hours. Then when it's kind of nap time and free play, I get to go back to my work or prep meals for dinner or just schedule things. Sunday night is my magical night. I have my entire week, all of my meals, everything planned out on that night, so I'm ready to go on Monday.
So smart, so amazing. Yeah. So tell us, Brittany, how were you able to, so first share a little bit about what you do in your business, but then I think that what our listeners really want to know and hear from you is, how did you pivot your photography business? What did you do? What kind of magic did you add? What are those ingredients?
Yes, so I'm a brand photographer and I work with women one-to-one. But since COVID hit, I've been stuck. I haven't been able to work face-to-face with people. But my clients still needed images. You spoke, Natalia, about how important it is to have visual online presence. And my clients needed this, and all businesses online need this. So I quickly pivoted and I produced an online course that helps to teach entrepreneurs how to take their own pictures. So it's just a way, really, when it comes to understanding and dealing and making your business viable in times like this, you have to be willing to think outside the box. Okay, so if we're talking about building a recipe, that's the way you're going to have a business that's viable and continues to grow during pandemics or any type of downturn in the economy. You have to be a little bit innovative. And so that's what I did. I was innovative. I thought outside the box, and I said, if I can't work with you physically, let's work together virtually.
That's amazing. And do business owners have to have specific experiences to do this course?
Absolutely not. You just get to tell the story about your business, and you're the very best person to know how to do that, right? So we go through and I teach you what you need to think about in order to get the pictures that will represent your business. It's a totally beginner's thing because everybody is a photographer. Everybody has an amazing camera right in their pocket, your phone, right? And just the couple of little tips and tricks to make it work for you, you could be a photographer and produce images that are going to help your business during this time.
That's
Now,
amazing.
Brittany, those are great tips, and I love that you said think outside the box, because that's what we do. We encourage businesses to think outside the traditional recipe box, because there's so many different ingredients that we can pick up from different businesses, because so many people do incredible, really interesting things, and sometimes we'll look for tips that are specific to our business, but what if we look at the things that other businesses have done and think about how can we implement some of the things that other businesses have done into our own flow. And with photography, it's interesting. So I have taken your course and I think it was really good, and I have some cool stuff to share with you even behind the scenes after the episode. But what I love about it is that, and I think what makes it different, so I have taken over 70 online courses, and my completion rate has rarely been 100%. But I think what you have done that's super interesting is that you have created a course that actually leads people to completion, because at the end, they get to send you their photos that you taught them how to take throughout your course, and then you do something special, which is what I think makes you so unique. And so with that, with the way that you structured the course, if there are other businesses that want to take the knowledge that they've had from working one-on-one typically with their customers, what advice would you give? How can they go about doing something like this for themselves from your experience?
Yeah. So from my experience, the very best thing is you need to ask yourself, put yourself into your client's shoes and ask them, what do they need right now? So for example, with what you discussed about my course, I said, my clients don't need to learn how to be a photographer. They need to stay in their lane and focus on what they do best. And so I was able to mix my expertise with what they knew and just the very bare minimum of what they needed to do. So for other businesses, as you're growing and you're trying to pivot, you need to ask yourself, what is the one thing that I can do to help my clients, but not distract them from them being able to work in their zone of genius?
That's amazing. And is your course self-paced?
Yes, it's self-paced. It's nice and short. You could finish all of it in a couple of days, take your own pictures and send them to me. I'll professionally edit them so that you don't have to learn and have hours and hours of experience learning how to edit. So same thing. That's where your time is valuable as an entrepreneur. So when I think about it, like my my clients, they have their own set of skills that they need to focus on. They need to grow their business. They don't have the time or energy or resources to learn these skills. So how can I mix what my offering is and pivot in a way that I can serve them? And if you ask yourselves the same questions, you're going to be able to help your business grow and continue to expand and expand your offerings too during COVID, during a pandemic.
Great.
I love how much you share about this and how many useful takeaways that businesses are already hearing just from the first few minutes of the interview. This is fantastic, Brittany. What I really love about taking your course is that not only I feel like I can implement the skills that I have learned in your course to take some photos of myself, but I feel like you went into such great explanation of how to use the light and how the different camera techniques, so that it makes me feel. And we have 2 restaurants, so I do all of our food photography for the restaurants. So I feel like any business owner, whether it's the business owner themselves or if they can identify a person on their team that is capable to take photos, and if you can talk a little bit about how can somebody learn to take photos and create that brand consistency and be able to tell stories with the photos that they put out on social media, which seems like where everybody is and how customers are finding us.
Yeah. So you want to be able to make connections with your photos. So if you have somebody who understands the ins and outs of your businesses, then that's really important to have them think about what are the connections that we can make from the client to the business. So one of the very best things that you can do is think about behind the scenes photos. Doesn't everybody love to hear and learn about what happens behind the scenes? Yes. You can have like
always.
You can have a beautiful plate of food and have a beautiful picture of it, but I want to know what's going on in the kitchen. I want to know where you source your food. I want to know how it is people. Those are the connections. That's where you create the story in order to make clients and viewers become raving fans. So behind the scenes is the easiest way to make that connection. And you just have to start where you're at, okay? You're not going to be perfect at first, and that's okay. Practice, 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 just like anything else, okay? You don't just become an Olympic swimmer. You have to practice for hours, okay? So don't worry if you don't get it right the first time. Start where you're at and just grow from there.
And I think sharing behind the scenes really makes your social media feel more human, because now you're connecting with them at a different level. For one of my clients, I actually have a restaurant that I'm also helping with marketing. We got pictures of what they're doing for COVID, you know, how they're sanitizing, the changes they're making, their employees wearing masks, their kitchen people, you know, wearing their gloves and their masks and staying 6 feet apart, just certain things like that. And people are really engaging when you show them that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, because you've now become a human, not just a logo. And that's what the pictures do for you, right? You can tell that for me as a client, we hear that pictures are worth 1,000 words. When you're scrolling through an Instagram feed or you're looking at a website, you're going to be attracted to the pictures. And if the pictures can tell the story first, people are much more likely to read on. And that's why connecting your pictures, your captions, your copy all together is what makes a good marketing strategy.
For sure.
I do think that this is a brilliant approach, and I love the behind the scenes idea. And I think that as business owners, we really need to think and address what concerns do our customers have. You know, for people in the restaurant industry, the main concern for the customers is the safety. When I come to eat at your establishment, am I going to feel good? Am I going to feel safe? Do you have outside seating? In one of our locations, we converted one of the rooms, an office with a private entrance into private dining room. So how can we, and we use pictures and Facebook Lives and stuff like that to tell the stories and give that behind the scenes. But very important is to also address the concerns of the customers and really communicate to them and remove that fear or whatever, however they might feel uncertain about coming into the business or using the business. So addressing those concerns ahead of time is huge, and it can easily be done through photography and through video. Yeah.
Brittany, would you mind sharing one of the success stories for one of the business owners that have taken one of your courses?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I would love to. So I have recently worked with this amazing yoga instructor, and she was faced with the exact same problem that I had. She has to work with clients one-on-one. And so through her course, she decided, you know what, I'm going to pivot as well, go online, chase the different poses and the different movements, the different exercises visually to a large market online so that my or her clients could continue to improve their lives and their well-being and their health. So something as simple as that, just simply like Tatiana and Natalia, like you said, when we're showing what it is, how we work through the process, we are inviting more people into our work and inviting more people into learning about how we do things. And that builds the trust that they need to move forward. So it was a wonderful success story. She launched her business. She switched everything online. And so instead of having to close down her yoga studio, stop her revenue stream, instead, she's found a different way to pivot and is now able to continue to help people's lives and their well-being.
Now, this is a great success story, and it's super visual too. And I know, Brittany, that you and I spoke beforehand, and you do something really unusual for a very visual type of business. You have a podcast. So I'd love for you to share how a photographer can talk and be on a medium that's totally not visual.
Yes. So what I have to say for any business owner is you have to start where you are. Go with what works for you and take off from there. For me, I could talk for hours and hours, and that's a skill of mine. And so I said, let's focus on that. Let me start with a podcast. I don't necessarily like to sit at a computer and write for hours. I have a million pictures, but it wasn't working for me. So I found podcast works for me. You can get all the information. I can be very, very descriptive and very convincing in showing you how it is that you can grow your business through pictures. And then if you're interested, I've got all of the images and visuals and videos on my website that connects to it. So I just show what works for me. Also, my clients are busy, and so they don't have time necessarily to sit on a computer or on their phone and watch video after video after video. So now they can listen as well. It's a different medium for them. They can listen in the car. They can listen on their way to the office. They can listen on the way to a job site. And so a different medium helps different people.
Brittany, for business owners, if you could share one tip as far as photography and the way they take pictures, what would that be? Lighting
is everything. If, and you nod, and I know that's what you say. You've got pictures. There's nothing worse than having a poorly lit photo, and it just makes the difference between something that looks professional or not professional. And we all understand this, right? When you're at a party or if you're in a dark basement or something and you take a picture with your phone, it doesn't ever turn out well. So my tip is find the largest light source that you have and get as close to it as possible and then take your picture. For example, if you wanted to take a picture of food, go right up next to a big window and that light will spill over and light your food or whatever display if you've got a product really, really well. Same if you're taking a picture of yourself or your personal brand. Get in front of a window. Stand outside. It's going to look a million times better than if you're in a corner office in your cubicle typing away. It's not great. So that's my number one tip. If you can learn how to focus on your lighting, then your pictures can be so much better. And now you'll start to see it when you look at everybody's Instagram. You're like, oh my gosh, it's because you can see it. There's lots of light in the image.
For sure.
And lighting is important. Great tip. Thank you. Thank you, Brittany. You have given us so much valuable information, the insights. So here are the key takeaways. You can start with wherever you are. If you feel comfortable talking, then just like Brittany did, start a podcast, or start on, you're listening to this radio, you're watching this show. Connect. The way that you talk, it really connects you to your audience. If you're not able to do video, that's okay. Tell stories about your business through the photos. Share behind the scenes photography. Now for the photos, for the entrepreneurs or business owners, use light, and just, it's all about connecting with your customers and addressing their fears and making them feel super comfortable. Brittany, you have been such a joy. We appreciate your time coming on the show.
Thank you so much. It was so wonderful working with you.
Thank you, Brittany. Tatiana, wow, what do you think?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to go buy a light source right after this interview.
Isn't this terrific? And I love, Brittany is so great, and you can visit her website at brittanybanyanphotography.com, or go to Business Kitchen show on Facebook, and we'll post all the information about how you can connect to Brittany. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of questions from our viewers and listeners that can come up.
Even me, I might go give her a call after this as well.
Oh, she's terrific. And another thing that that we can think about and talk about is, when you are creating a brand, think about consistency in the style, and consistency in messaging, and just keep getting creative and keep connecting to your customers. Now, before we sign off, we do have another sponsor to thank for sponsoring today's show.
Yeah, we wanted to wrap up by thanking one more sponsor, which is Healthy Intent. Healthy Intent inspires you to live a healthier life. It's so easy to bump health down the priority list behind the business phone calls, family commitments, and let's face it, anything else, until we are diagnosed with something that forces us to make a change. Their online Healthy Cooking Academy has incredible classes that will help you to make a significant progress in your kitchen, whether you're cooking for yourself or your family. Subscribe to Healthy Intent YouTube channel for quick tips and more fun recipes. We all want to look better, feel better, and have more energy for life and business. Start every day with Healthy Intent. Follow them at healthyintent.com.
Thanks, Healthy Intent, for being our sponsor, and we thank you for tuning in and listening. And you don't have to become a professional photographer. Maybe find a person on your team that is able to pick up a couple of tips and can start creating stories. And we talked with Matthew Kimberly the other day, and he gave advice of start collecting stories. Make your brand relatable to your customers. Make it personal. Make it fun.
Make it human.
Make it human. That's it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be with you next week. Until then, have fun with your business.
Take care.
You've been listening to the Business Kitchen Show. Tune in each week for saucy interviews with business owners and to pick up fresh ingredients for your business success. The conversation continues after each episode on the Business Kitchen Show Facebook page. For the full show menu, visit businesskitchenshow.com.
The opinions expressed on the preceding